Hi everybody, it's Jessica, and this is another edition of Raleigh Rambles, where I process something that I'm thinking about out loud and share it with all of you. This morning I am driving to meet my carpool partner, and I live right next to the stadium where they have a lot of the graduations for the county that I live in. And I've done a video before just thinking about this time of year, end of year graduation, all of the kids who are getting ready to head off, into the next chapter of their lives. And I think it's human nature, but I'm particularly susceptible to sort of the chapters of life and those transitions and just what they mean and what they mean to different people. And I just had a couple of buses drive by with all of the seniors on them coming to graduation, and I saw all the families in their cars pulling into the parking lot, and everybody's getting situated and ready to watch their son or daughter or grandson or niece or nephew graduate and walk across that stage and take their diploma, and really that is such a symbolic thing in our society. But I think that sometimes we take it for granted. I know particularly in the area that I live, it's very suburban, and that's not to say that our kids don't have challenges or that the students who are graduating haven't worked extremely hard for it. But it gets me thinking a lot about the privileges that they have and the ways that they've been supported throughout their whole Journey into this occasion of graduation and taking those next steps towards the next chapter of their life. And it really is sticking with me right now, just this idea that we can't wait. We have to stop waiting for something to happen or someone to give us permission or for everything to change. We have to stop waiting and we have to start acting, because every year there are kids who are graduating, but just as many kids as are graduating across this stage in the suburban area that I live in, there are that many kids in my district where I work who don't graduate, who never even make it to senior year, who drop out well before that because of a variety of reasons with their home life or finances. I have had the great privilege of working with a lot of students who don't get to do extracurricular activities because they have to go and get a job and they have to work to support their families. And, I'm really feeling this sense of urgency of, I want to make a plea to educators and to policymakers and to anybody who has any impact on education, voters. We can't wait anymore. We have to figure out a better way, because I say this all the time, but it's not working. The system is broken. So many of us believe that the system is broken, and that doesn't mean everything about the system is broken. There are some really amazing things about the educators who are in our schools and the policymakers who are helping to, really try to set things onto a good path. There are plenty of very well-intentioned people and people who are dedicated and passionate and trying their very best for our kids, but it's not enough. And I think that it's just sad to me when I think about how many of the kiddos, and particularly it grabs my attention when I think about how many of my kids who I've had in 3rd or 4th or 5th grade are not going to make it to graduation. How many of my kiddos I invested my heart and my soul and literal blood, sweat, and tears to them and their families, and for whatever reason, they're not going to make it. Some of them won't make it through middle school. Some of them won't make it through high school. And then there are some who are going to make it and are going to graduate. And I will be absolutely sitting there, probably bawling, just so excited to see them walk across that stage, because I will be so ridiculously proud that they have made it that far, because I understand what it means for so many of our kids. It's not as simple as, do your extracurricular activities and get good grades and, apply yourself, kids. It's so much more complicated for all children. But then when you add the additional layers of some of the things that the kids in all districts go through, but it's particularly prevalent in urban districts, the amount of resiliency that it takes for them to just get up in the morning and get to school is really quite incredible. And I saw Angela Duckworth talk the other night about grit, and something that she said really stuck with me. She was talking about how privileged kids we think of the idea that we have to teach them grit. We have to teach them what it means to persevere. And we have to teach them how to, keep applying themselves and getting up when they fall and all those kinds of things. And she was talking about how kids who are in underprivileged situations actually already have grit by nature. They have to develop that. Their home life, their situation, the context in which they live forces them to develop grit and resiliency and perseverance and all of those things. But what we have to do is teach them how to take that grit and transfer it and apply it to school and apply it to college and career and life experiences, because a lot of times those students don't see that transfer. And unfortunately, on a college resume or an application, those kinds of grit are not recognized right now by so many of our institutions. And so we as educators really have a responsibility to help them make that transfer of the grit that they already have. So anyway, that's just kind of some of the stuff I'm thinking about, but I really am feeling like this urgency of like, oh my gosh, we have to stop waiting. We can't wait any longer. We have to catch these kids and we have to help all of them. So a little graduation thought from me this morning. I hope everybody has a great day, and I will talk to you all very soon.